Okay, in this section we are going to be covering quantum numbers. Your quantum numbers goes in sets of 4, which is what we've already covered in class. We've got N, which is your energy level. You've got L, which is your sublevel. This would be S, P, D, or F. You also have your ML, which is your magnetic sublevel, but it's also the ones that's going to be your different numbers. So it's going to be the one with the range and your sublevel. And then you're going to have your MS, which is your spin direction. And if it spins up, it's this. If it spins down, it's this. So these are all based on numbers, and you can use it as a coordinate system. So first of all, I'm going to take care of the N. So these are your N's. We've got 7 energy levels. Just remember that this one is also in the 3rd energy level. So it runs out of sequence. So we took care of that. These are all my N's, which go from here up to here. Then we got the sublevels. Now if we're going to go according to our numbers here, these are going to be my L's across the top. These are my columns. So if I'm going to do the S, that actually starts out with a 0. So these are my S's. Then I have these ones that are the P's. And the next number up would be 1. And then this would be 2, because it's the next number up. So these are all your D's, all the way to D's. That would be your L's, so these are your L's. The next one's going to be range in your sublevels. So we have to do a range based on 0. So that's going to be my sublevels. I'll just put ML, and this would apply from top to bottom. My range for my MLs are going to be this. And again, it's based on the one at the top. Now if I'm going to do my MLs over here, my range is going to be a -1, 0, +1, -1, 0, +1. Again, it follows a sequence. If I want to do my MLs over here, then it's going to be based on the 2. -2, -1, 0, +1, +2. Then it repeats. -2, -1, 0, +1, +2. And again, those are all my magnetic sublevels, which is ML. My MS is my magnetic spin. So basically, if I have negative electrons, they're going to spin away from each other. So those are going to be repelled. So this is going to be called my MS. Now we just split them in half. So this would be a half. This would be a half. So these would all be a +1/2 all the way to a +1/2. And then since it's split in 2, the other half are going to be a -2, or -1/2 to a -1/2. So that'd be my magnetic spin. I'd also split these. So it's going to be a positive 1/2 for half of them. You can remember that way too. And then a negative 1/2 for half of them. Okay, those are all the ways you're going to do it as far as filling out the periodic table. As far as doing individual elements on here, just remember there's only one quantum number for each element. So no other element can have the same set of different elements cannot have the same set of quantum numbers. They usually ask questions based on position and that set of quantum numbers. So if we look at arsenic, which I believe is here, but let's check. I think arsenic is actually a nitrogen, phosphorus. I believe arsenic's located there. That would be correct. So if we were finding the highest energy level electron from arsenic, well, first of all, we have to narrow it down by each one. So the first one we're going to do is our rho, or energy level, which would be your N. So that would be 4. Now we know that it's in here. Now we're going to narrow it down even more. The 1 tells you it's in this location, so that's a 1. That one would actually be your SPD or F with numbers. Now my next one is going to be pretty much the split as far as it, so we're going to go the range of the location, which is going to be in this area. And if we look right here, it's going to be a positive 1. And then if I look at my positive 1, which is here, it's also going to indicate that my electron is going to be spinning in an up direction. So that's going to be your spin. I kind of simplified the terms at the top. Let's go on and do another one. Let's say I want to do the element that's located here. Again, it really doesn't make a difference what the element is. I believe that one is barium, but it really doesn't matter. It's just going to be your element that's located here. If you go through the set of quantum numbers, it's in the 5th row. It's in the S's, so your numbers, next one's going to be if it's an S, P, D, and F, which the S is a 0. It's in still the S's. My range is from 0 to 0, so it's 0. And then your spin direction, it's going to be a negative 1/2. Let's go ahead and do another one. The nice part is they actually follow the same pattern. And you can do it based on not even knowing what the element is, though it would be helpful to know what it is. But if I just put a box, it's kind of easy to figure out what your quantum numbers are going to be. So let's do that element here, which is the noble gas. It's still in the row 6, or the energy level 6. Now I'm in the P's, which are 1. Now I'm going to look at my range, which my range is a positive 1. And then my spin direction, it's the other half, so it's a negative 1/2. You do notice I didn't even put the element down. I believe that one is actually radon. Let's go ahead and do another couple of them. Okay, so let's say we go back up here. Okay, that's going to be silicon. Energy level, or your rho, is 3. If I'm looking at my P's, it is in the 1. If I'm doing my range tells me it's a 0. And then my range also tells me that it's a 0 on my first one. It's going to be a positive 1/2. Again, same routine. Let's say I want to do one in the middle. You just got to remember the operative word. So let's say I have an element here which is manganese. Now you just have to remember this one runs out of sequence and is at a lower energy level. So the one we're actually going to look at is this location here. So if we're doing that location there, your highest energy electron is going to be 4. It's going to be 0. It's going to be range 0 to 0. And my electron spin is going to be negative 1/2. Now if we were talking about the Pauli exclusion principle, which means they can't have the same set of quantum numbers, we're not talking about the same set of quantum numbers. This is your highest energy electron. Now if I'm looking at the specific quantum number for that, then what I would do is I'm going to look at the 3. It's in the 2, which is this. I'm going to look at the positive 2 because that's part of your range. And then spin direction, positive 1/2. That is how you do quantum numbers, and that is how you set it up.